Hi everyone, it's James Leckie here. Welcome to the 21.0 release webinar. We're going to be taking you on a run through of the Schoolbox latest release for Schoolbox. I guess, sorry about the delay. Thank you everyone for waiting. We're just trying to get some technical issues all resolved. Not all are resolved, but we'll push through anyway and get as much as we can presented. So just a quick update. I always forget to say this, so I'm going to start this time by saying what our release schedule is for this upgrade. We are starting this release with a beta that's rolling out to staging servers as of today. So we'll be rolling out this update to your staging servers over the course of the next week. We'll also be posting the release notes onto help tomorrow. So you'll have all the information you need to be able to start testing this release. The expectation is that this beta period will last for 3 weeks, and approximately around the 8th of June, we expect to be rolling out this to production servers, and you'll be able to book in your upgrades from that point forward. So with that all done with, we'll start running through the features and things that we've developed with this release. So firstly, the questions actually, if you do have any questions while we are going through this presentation, please add them into the chat. We're going to have a section at the end of the presentation to go over any questions you might have and answer any questions. So if you do have any, please post them in the room, and we'll ask them towards the end. Okay, so let's start by logging in and getting on with the system. I'm going to log in to begin with as a admin, and we're going to talk about some of the new updates to the admin system. So firstly, one of the first things you'll notice as you click on the profile picture to access the admin area, there's a new link to online help. The online help link here has been set up so that you can single sign on from Schoolbox or your instance of Schoolbox into our online help platform. So no longer will you have to worry about staff forgetting their passwords for access to those online help resources. This will make sure that they can access them just with a single click. Of course, the caveat with that is all staff will need to have an account in online help for this to work. If they don't have an account, they will end up back at the login screen and they'll be able to proceed in as a guest. But of course, if they do, they'll go in with their full credentials as their school account. So continuing on into the admin area, we're just going to proceed there, and with part of this update, you'll notice that the admin system is looking quite different. So obviously the admin system was starting to strain under the weight of all the features that we've been adding to it over the years, and that navigation system was getting quite clunky. It wasn't really what we wanted from a modern system. So we've redesigned the navigation system. You'll now have a search and a left-hand navigation. In the left-hand navigation, you'll see all of the usual pages have been organized into a drop-out menu where you'll be able to see all of the features that you can access. We've done a little bit of reorganization here to organize the content into more, I guess, similar areas. You'll find there's a new LMS area where all of the LMS features are located, and user management and things like that, and resources have all been grouped together. So things have been grouped together a bit better, so it's a bit easier to find what you're looking for. But really, I guess, who wants to sort of browse through the nav? That's pretty old school. So we're going to now look at the search. You can type in any term you want into the search at the top, and it will give you a quick search list of all the results that it finds throughout the admin system. Now, these results are made up of both pages and individual settings. So if there's an individual policy setting, you're able to find those individual policy settings very quickly, or any feature that you might know the name of or know something about, and you're trying to find where is this located in our admin system, you can now just type in the word and it'll quickly bring up a list of results. If I click on one of these results, and in this case it's a setting, it'll take me to the page with the setting, scroll me down to it and highlight that particular setting in the page, allowing me to quickly find what I'm looking for in the system so I can quickly change that setting. While we're here in the admin system, we've made some changes as well throughout. Just a quick one, into the year level area, we've added the ability to turn learning moments on per year level. So what that means is that you can now control which year levels have the learning moments feature. So you don't have to have this across the entire school. You could have it for a few year levels and turn it off at later year levels, or vice versa. One of the really big pain points that a lot of schools and admins particularly have mentioned over the years is the ability to clean up or remove users at the end of the year. How do we identify those users that are no longer maintained by our SIS and are no longer relevant inside the Schoolbox platform? So under user management, you're going to find a new remove users feature. The remove users provides a report that tells you all of the users that haven't been updated by the user provisioning system in the last week. So what this is basically a list of all of the people that are no longer maintained by the SIS. And for those that remember, the reason the UPS can't do this itself is that when the SIS, when a student leaves the school, the SIS just stops telling us about that student. And so the user provisioning system wasn't able to identify those users as actually left. So what we've done is we've built this report so you can find all the users that are no longer being maintained, and you can identify them and delete them. You'll see some other nice features here, like the ability to search. So I can search on this report. I might search for year 12, for example. I can tick the users that I want to delete and then delete just those selected users. That will permanently remove them from the system, cleaning the system up. So that's a great activity to, I guess, to do at the end of the year. After your SIS is rolled over and these people are no longer being maintained, come in here, take a look at the report and clean up any users that are no longer being updated. All right, while we're on the admin system, we've got some more updates. The usage report has also been updated. So previously the usage report sort of over the years became less and less relevant because more and more files were just being stored in the one place. Many of you know that we moved to having a single store for all files deduplicated. Now the report more accurately provides information on where those files are stored in the system and what types of files are being stored in the system. So you can see on the left-hand side what subsystems are using files, where those files are being stored in across the subsystems, and also what types. Drilling down, you can of course drill down to a particular user and identify what that particular user is using the system for, where their files are being stored and what their files are being uploaded to. So that's all been updated for you. Couple of other things, just a quick one. The digest email has been updated. So now when you look at a digest, and I can quickly bring up a preview digest here, the look and feel of the digest has been updated to be more modern and more in line with the modern Schoolbox. This is one of those technical things that I was trying to fix before. It's not currently showing all the images, but in your environment, it will actually all work and all the images will show. So this has been updated to be more modern, and it also fits with the style and look and feel of your existing Schoolbox. Along with that, the digest, the instant email has also been updated to be modernized as well. So that's now looking updated as well. Okay, so we also have added the ability to maintain user titles. So if you do want to customize the user titles list, that list is now updatable as well. So that's a quick run through of the admin system. It was much faster with the search. How good was it that I could just jump around like that and find all the things that I needed to show you? I wasn't searching through the wall of tabs. While I'm talking about how good search is, let's have a look at the news system and have a look at what we've added into the news system. So when you look at an article inside the news, we've got our statistics. And we added this feature in the last release, the ability to see who has read and viewed an article. But of course, this can be a really big list, especially if you've got a massive audience. And sometimes you just want to find an individual person and see if that individual person has accessed the news yet. So now you can quickly search through that list. You can, of course, search for groups as well. So if you want to just look at the parents and see which parents have accessed it, you can do any type of search filtering you want. And of course, all of the sort ordering is there as well. So yeah, lots of searches being added throughout the system. Really helpful to find that information that you need. All right, let's go back to the news, and I'm going to post a new news article here. And this article is going to include a video message. And with the last update, we added the ability to attach files into Schoolbox. And the attached files modal you would have been familiar with previously. It's got the ability to upload from different sources, and it had this recording option in it. And the recording option allowed you to record just a simple WAV file. We've gone and done a whole lot of updates to that. And now you can record audio, video, and even a screen capture while you're doing your uploading. And of course, you know, this modal works everywhere in the system. So we're able to use this when we're creating a task for students in the class. We can use it, a student could use it to submit their work. And we've also updated learning moments, of course, as well, which I'll show you in just a minute. From here, we can see the audio. I'm able to record, I'll allow that. You can see it recording my voice now, and it's got a nice wavy line telling me that it's picking up the sound and recording my voice. I can also record video. Not sure how well this is going to work, but there you go. I can record my message to you all and post this into the system. It's going to ask me to call this. And now it's attached my video message into the system. A couple of things there in the limitations of that, obviously. It's got a 3-minute window of upload at the moment. We've limited it that specifically to avoid people using up too much storage and taking up too much space, and also taking too much time to sort of upload and compress as well. You'll also find that it's stored in WebM at the moment, and that's because I'm using the browser Chrome. Safari actually is using MP4 at the moment. Safari may update soon to WebM as well, we think, but at the moment they're using MP4. So there is a bit of differences between the different browsers depending on what capabilities your browser has and what codecs it has for encoding video. If I record an audio message, that will be attached as either MP3 or OGG, once again, depending on your browser. Of course, once I post that message, so I'm just going to upload that now. I'll do it to parents and admin. Of course, when I upload that message, it is going to transcode my video message. So my video message is attached here. This background system, it's going to actually have to transcode that. So if I bring that up now, it's actually already done it for me, which is very nice. I can now play that back to myself inline in the system. So it has actually retranscoded that for streaming and made it available. So really powerful feature there. Lots of, I guess, options for how you might communicate. You could even use this for feedback to your students, so you can attach video messages or video or audio, or even do a screen capture showing them how to do something as feedback in your feedback now as well. Of course, I imagine there's a lot of IT managers out there having nervous sweats about the storage that this is going to use up. If you do have any issues with storage, please do get in touch with us. We are happy to talk about our cloud storage options and how we might help you expand your storage capacity. If you do have on-premise storage limitations, we have the options now to provide unlimited storage if necessary. All right. So moving on now to the homepage updates. So the homepage system, I'm going to log in as a teacher now for the homepage and have a look at we'll go to demo class 2. So just a quick few updates. Now, this is what a class page looks like currently. One of the first things we did was when you upload files, we got a lot of feedback from our customers that you wanted to, I'll just quickly find a file and upload. You wanted us to remove the view more link here. So what we've done with this update is when you view this page as a read-only user or primarily as a student, you're no longer going to see the view all files. You're no longer going to have access to the Browse Resources button. So what this is designed to do is stop our users from getting lost in the resource browser. Lots of schools don't like students wandering into the resource browser and getting lost or distracted. We also thought while we're at it, you can see the course outline and tiles components here are empty. As a teacher, I haven't yet populated them, and they're prompting me as a teacher to complete and add content to them. But for a student, there's not really much I can do with those components if they're empty. They're just distractions getting in the way. So now when I switch to the student view, you'll see that those two components disappear and the view all files link has gone. So as that student, I'm no longer able to access the view all files. I'm no longer able to browse resources. I'm only able to get to access to the things that are relevant to me on this page. So we just wanted to simplify that experience for students, and I hope that goes a long way to helping that out. Now, the next feature I'm going to show you, I'm a bit hesitant about because I'm not entirely sure it's going to work, but bear with me. We're going to show the Google Files component. So what this component is designed to do is allow you to share your files that are hosted in your Google Drive with your class, your group, your extracurricular activity. Now, we know you can already do this. You can get the share link, you can embed it into a text box, but we felt that workflow was a little bit clunky. And often it didn't deal with some of the issues with permissions. And lots of people would run into issues with sharing and who could access and who could collaborate. So the new Google Files component allows me to add to the page, and bear with me, I have a feeling this is not going to work, but I'm going to talk you through it anyway. Click on the Find Google File, and of course, it's not going to work for me. Sorry about that. What would happen is it's going to open up a Google File browser. So I'll be able to pick a file through the Google Picker. It's then going to ask me two questions. It's going to ask me, who do I want to give edit access to? And who do I want to give comment or collaboration access to? Once I've completed that, I'm able to embed that document directly into it, and it works just like a normal files component. It'll list all the files that you've embedded and allow you to click through and see those files embedded inside Schoolbox on a dedicated page. So this feature is designed to solve two things. One, make it easy to embed a Google Doc into Schoolbox, and two, make sure that you share the document appropriately with the right permissions to the people that are accessing the page. It works with Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Spreadsheets. So all of the Google suite can be embedded into this component. So you are able to share all of those Google files and collaborate on all those different types of files inside Schoolbox. All right, we'll move on from the Google files, and I'm sorry it didn't present as well as I would like, but we'll move on now to the text box component. Text box component has had a slight update. Now, previously you would have, we've updated the text box and simplified the process. Now, in the process of doing that, we made an issue where you were no longer able to update the title. So if I had have created a spelling error in the name of my component, I wasn't able to fix that. So I could go in and change the name of the heading here, but the actual original text box was still named incorrectly. So what we've done is we've now added a manage all feature, which allows you to, I'll just save that. Allows you to view all of the text boxes that are currently on your page. And from here, I can see all of the text boxes that are linked up on this page, and I can actually update the name of them. Now we've got some more additions to make to this probably before we go to final release. We are likely going to make it so that you can edit the content of the text box here, and you can also add additional text boxes. So what we want to see is this to become an area where you can manage your text boxes behind the scenes before you put them on the page. So you can update and maintain those text boxes even when they're not visible on the page. So think of it like a bit of a text box browser. The other great feature that this has is the ability to see text boxes that have been alt-sourced to other locations. So if another class is using my text box, so if I go and add a text box to another page, and I now alt source this component. So that's now using that same text box on a different page. When I manage all, I can actually now see both of these class pages are utilizing that text box. So it's really good to keep track of where your text boxes are being used. We know a lot of schools make heavy use of the alt sourcing feature, and sometimes it's easy to lose track of who's using what text boxes on what pages. So hopefully this gives you a bit of insight into where those text boxes are being used. One last thing before we move on, we've added a lot of improved print support into the platform. So what this means is that you can now, with a lot more confidence, print your pages inside Schoolbox. So they should lay out a lot better, and I'll just landscape this so it's got a bit more space on the page. But you can see you've now got full color, tiles are working, most features are now visible on the page. And this goes throughout the system. So if I'm looking at, for example, my timetable, and I'm printing my timetable, that now comes through in full color as well. So you've got access to a lot more information around, I guess, printing different pages. Try it out on lots of different pages. You should get a much better printing experience now that we've added color throughout the pages. Of course, the printer ink's probably not going to thank us, but hopefully that makes it a lot easier to see what's going on a lot of these pages. And we know a lot of people are only printing to PDF anyway for a digital copy. All right, so let's move on to the LMS. So we've done a lot of work to improve the workflow, and we think there's still a lot more work to be done. There's always more work to be done in Schoolbox, but we wanted to help, I guess, the process by which you import your courses into class pages. So let's start by modifying this course here. One of the first things we've done is we've identified that some assessments are special. They're special in a way that they need to be commonly assessed across the entire cohort. They shouldn't just be allowed to be edited at whim by any classroom teacher. They do need some restrictions on who can and cannot control them. So we've created this common assessment flag. When you tick this on, it will automatically, when this assessment is imported into a class, lock down a whole lot of different fields related to that assessment. In fact, really only that's left to edit is the due dates. So all of the title, actually the description stays editable, but the submission type, the grading system, the marking, the rubric, everything about this assessment will become locked. And so this means that you can ensure that across your entire cohort, when this common assessment is rolled out, it's going to stay common across all of those classes. We'll come back to that in just a moment. Sorry, just taking a drink. All right, so moving on. Now we're up to the place where we want to import my course. So let's go back to courses, and I'm going to push this course out to a page. Now, one of the common mistakes that we noticed that users were making was they were trying to import a course, the same course, multiple times to the same page. So if I go and try and import this course, it's going to warn me that I'm actually about to create a duplicate course. And it's probably something I don't want to do. It's going to create a whole lot of duplicate entries into my markbook and create a whole lot of mess that I'm just going to have to clean up. So now we warn a user before they go into the process of double importing a course. They get this little warning. Of course, you can ignore it and keep going, but you can also cancel out of that and go back and realize you probably wanted to import it into somewhere else, or perhaps you wanted to modify it rather than import it again. I'm going to import this now to demo 2. And let's go next. And we'll start today, next week. We'll do To Kill a Mockingbird next week, and first 2 months. Whoops. Okay, so here's probably the next big change we've made for the workflow change. So when you're importing a course, well, the feedback that we heard was that people were missing the step of selecting their assessments and setting the due dates. And that was because we, by default, collapsed the units. So you got to the coursework step and everything was collapsed. We decided that we needed people to verify all of the due dates for all of their assessments, and it was important that they at least looked at them. So we've now expanded that by default. We also had feedback that some schools like to go the other way around. They don't want everything turned on by default. They just want to pick the things that they want. So now I'm able to just pick the main items that are important to me and import just those. Okay, so that's my course imported. So hopefully that's helped you go through the process of importing the course a little bit smoother and should work out some of those kinks that we've had with teachers perhaps not entering all the due dates correctly, or not feeling frustrated with how long it takes to import a course. You saw how quickly I was able to just do it then. Now, one thing while we're still in the LMS area, and before we move on, I just wanted to show you a new ability. If I go into my assessment here and I view this particular assessment, and we've had this for quite some time, you've been able to download all of the submissions in a particular assessment. So I'm just going to download these submissions. This file, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take a bit more time than it used to. Now contains, in addition to, no, it's not working for me. Try that again. Might be another one of those things that's not going to work for me. Sorry about that. I'll explain what it contains. So this now contains the zip file, contains the student's submission. It also contains a PDF of the student's grade. So what that means is we've actually gone through each student and taken the submission history page and we've turned it into a PDF. And we've included that in your zip file. So you'll get this PDF in each of your students' submissions. So you can see it has all of the grade, the comment, the rubric, all of that's going to be included when you download that submission box. So we're hopeful that this will help you submit your assessments for review and bring all of the feedback and the students' work into one place where you can access it all in one quick and easy download. Okay, let's move on. So got a few updates to some of the other features in the system, and these are just going to be quick. I'm hopefully moving through pretty quickly. So let's have a look at badges. I'm just going to get back to my class page here. One of the feedbacks we got about badges was that when you went to use the badges, there was a lot of badges. You had to browse through huge quantities of badges because there's badges throughout the whole school, and you wanted a way to simplify the view of badges. So what we've done is we've added a new filter onto badges based on year level. So when you create a badge, you can now assign a badge to one or more year levels. So if I go and quickly look at my badges, and I'll just have to, I've got two badges here, year 9 and year 12. And these badges, if I modify them, have been assigned to particular year levels. So each badge is assigned to a particular year level. And so I can filter on year levels, so I can bring up just the year 9 badges, or I can bring up both. But where this becomes quite powerful is how we've attached this to, for example, a student. So if I log in as a student and I'm looking to go in as a year 9 student, and the year 9 student is now in the process of setting their goals. So they go to the goals, they go set a goal, and it's already filtered to just the year 9 badges. So no longer am I seeing the year 12 badges as well as a student. So I'm not getting confused about what goals are available to me. Of course, we don't want to stop students' progression. If they are interested in viewing the other year levels, they're still there. They just have to change their default filter settings. But by default, they're going to be filtered to their year level. This filtering is also being applied on a class page. So when, as a teacher, you are looking at your class and you want to assign badges for your particular class. So I'll just go to my 9 English again and my class list. I'm able to set goals. And because my class is a Year 9 class, it's actually already filtered my badge filtering to Year 9. If I had been in a Year 3 class or a Year 4 class, it would have filtered my badge search to that year level as well. Of course, you can change it as a teacher, and you'll see it also includes badges that don't have year levels as well, so they'll all appear. So the more generalist badges will all appear. But you can now use this to help, I guess, deliver badges to the right age group. Okay, moving on to the pastoral system. When we create a pastoral record in the system, and I'll just create a pastoral record here for a student, we've now added the ability to allow parents to comment. So if you have parent visibility turned on to the pastoral system, you can now allow parents to optionally comment onto the record. We designed this with the idea that you could perhaps, you might need to get parent feedback or a review of maybe a learning plan or some other information that you are storing about the student in their pastoral records. So this allows your parents to engage in a new way with the pastoral system. So if you need that step where perhaps you need parents to confirm that they have viewed something, you can now ask them to comment once they confirm they've read something. While we're still in the pastoral care system, we have added the ability to export on your reports to include points, house, and year level. So just a bit of extra metadata into that CSV export when you're downloading a report. Now I'm just going to log in as a parent just to talk about our last feature here. So for our last feature, we have been working with our new partner, Geosnapshot, that we announced earlier in the year, that we were going to be doing more work with. Geosnapshot is a platform for uploading school photos, and those photos can be from events and from things going on from schools. And I know schools have a huge catalogue of photos that are taken across all the different events. And of course, that sea of photos is often hard to manage and hard to access. So what we've designed with Geosnapshot is a new button onto the student component, which is called View Photos. So if you have the Geosnapshot system and it's plugged into your Schoolbox instance, clicking this will now take you to a gallery of photos for your particular student. So you'll be able to pull up just a dedicated gallery for each of these students. So a parent can come through and click on this link and see a gallery of photos for these particular students. It's not going to work right now because I haven't got any photos loaded for these students, but you can see where the gallery would appear and show all of those students' photos. In addition to this, we know that schools would like to showcase those photos attached to their groups, their extracurricular areas within the platform. So if I'm a person in charge of a particular area, perhaps archery, and I want to bring through the archery events, archery photos from Geosnapshot, I can now bring in the Geosnapshot homepage component and drop that onto my page. And in this component, I can actually search for the event name and type in the event name that I want to search for. And now it's going to show a gallery of photos for that particular event. So you can create lots of different experiences here. You could ultimately have a gallery of Geosnapshot photos on any page for any purpose of any event. And we've also got the image search feature for parents so that they can see the photos of their students across all the events in the school. So they can pull up that gallery. Also coming soon, we're going to be implementing some redaction functionality so that we will automatically redact photos of students that have asked through the school systems to be redacted from any galleries. We'll automatically remove them from any photos as well. If you want to know more about the Geosnapshot feature and function, you want to see it in greater detail, we do have a dedicated webinar coming up for Geosnapshot next Tuesday, the 25th of May at 11 a.m. So we do welcome you to join that. Emails will be going out tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. We will be having a more dedicated run through of that but I just wanted to tap that on just at the end there for you. So that just about wraps us up. We've gone through all the features that I'm going to show today. I hope there was lots there for you. While there's questions being collated, and I can see there's already some questions there, and I encourage you all to ask any other questions. You've got a short amount of time while I just wrap up to get in any more questions. But while that's happening, some important notes with this upgrade. We will be upgrading the database behind the scenes with this upgrade. So it's a major database upgrade as well. We're going from MariaDB 10.1 to MariaDB 10.5. This is designed to increase performance around some particular queries that we've been having trouble with in certain scenarios with certain schools. So hopefully it'll increase performance across the board. We don't think this will impact you too much, but it is something to be aware of in case you do have direct database integrations with third-party systems. We are going to be updating that database behind the scenes. One final last piece of late-breaking news for TAS customers. Firstly, we'd like to thank all those customers that participated in our TAS API trial and helped test and fix all of the issues during that period. We very much appreciate you participating and giving us feedback and working with us while we I guess, got it smoothed out with TAS and worked through that process. We now are just waiting on one final certification from TAS. All the work has been completed, and we expect that as part of this gold release, the TAS API will be generally available to all customers, and we should be able to start rolling that out. We'll have more news coming very shortly to all of our TAS customers about how they can utilize that API and how it might work for them. But that work is now, from our perspective, basically complete. So look forward to that in this release as well. So let's go to some questions, and I'll just go through first. Hal asks, we don't delete users, rather students and parents are moved to a past role. I presume the UPS will show all of those unused accounts and we'll be able to filter out those roles. So Hal asks a good question about rather than deleting, moving them into an alumni group or some other place. Now that's already an accepted workflow, and lots of schools already do that. For those that don't know, you can of course just move users with the bulk modify into a different role and then let the UPS bring them back into the correct roles. So a classic example is you might create alumni students, move all your students into alumni, and then run the UPS, and all the students that aren't alumni will be moved back into the correct student role. So that workflow is perfectly acceptable and will continue to work. We don't have any issue with that. The delete is more just for schools that want to delete their users and clean them up. We have another question. If a user is active and not been updated since there is no change, is this going to show to delete? Yes. So as always, delete is something that you need to review manually. It can't just be something you just go into with your eyes closed. There's going to be users in the delete list that probably shouldn't be deleted. They might be test accounts, they might be guest accounts, they might be other types of accounts that the UPS is not maintaining, but you still want in the system. And a good example is sometimes schools want to keep their Year 12s in the platform for some time after they are de-enrolled from the SIS. They might still want them in there. Lots of schools still use Schoolbox well after SIS has said they're no longer enrolled. So it's going to be up to you to decide when to run the delete process. It's a manual process, and we've designed it that way so you have that flexibility to decide when those users are removed, which users are removed, and how you go about that process. John and Hal, is there any length restrictions for recording video file size? So it's a good question. I should have mentioned this. The allowed files upload system is still in place. So when uploading and recording a video inside Schoolbox, the allowed files limits will still be there. So if a person records a video that is bigger than your allowed file limit, say for example, your WebM video upload limit was 10 megabytes and they recorded a 50 megabyte video, the allowed files would block that from being uploaded to your server. So yes, there is both a limit in the time recording and also in the file size as well. So both those limits are still in play. Someone else mentioned I'd forgot to demo it as a learning moment, and I did indeed. So I'll just go in as a student and demo a student doing a learning moment. So when we first launched Learning Moments, we designed it around the mobile experience on iPads and mobile devices. And of course, with Learning Moments, a lot of people said to us, well, we don't use, in our junior school, we don't use iPads or those devices. We use a Chromebook, or we use a Windows tablet. And those devices were sort of left out of the Learning Moment experience. And so with this update, now the system will allow you to upload a learning moment. And it works for take a photo as well. So I can take a photo. Hey. And that can be my learning moment. And that can now be submitted into the learning moment system. So I can quickly capture any of the options that are available here. I can record video, I can record audio, and I can take a photo. And that can be done on any device now, not just mobile phones, but on desktops, laptops, tablets, Windows, Chromebooks, you name it. Anything now can be used with the learning moment sharing feature. Okay. Sam asks, are the files and videos posted in news searchable? No, only the news itself is searchable. The contents of files are still not searchable in Schoolbox. As you know, we've got a long-term project to try and re-architect our search engine offering, and we're doing a lot of cloud architecture work to prepare us for that. We don't think we're able to offer in-file searching until we start leveraging the cloud for that capability. And so we're working to develop out that cloud search function, and we'll be looking at bringing that in sometime in the future. But at this stage, files uploaded into anywhere inside Schoolbox, and you're not able to search inside the files. Okay. Dean asks, are we going to move being able to push live documents via M365 G Suite through course outline from due work, etc.? It's a good question, Dean. Yes, we are. So I'm hoping very soon we will have a new assessment type. Additional to due work, we're going to have an LTI assessment type. And the LTI assessment type will integrate with Google Assignments as an LTI assessment, giving you the Google experience inside the Schoolbox LMS workflow. We're still working with Microsoft around their LTI experience and what they want that to look like and how that might look. There is some movement from Microsoft about that. They do want to have an LTI assessment workflow, but we haven't quite got there yet with them. But we'll build the LTI assessments first and do it first with Google, and likely that'll come shortly after. So yes, we're very much going to be extending our LMS functionality into LTI, and LTI will open up more than just Google and Microsoft, but a whole range of other tools like Education Perfect and things like that as well that we'll be able to embed it into a course. Will the same functionality that we did for Google and the Google sharing of documents inside Schoolbox be available with Microsoft? We have had a look around and with the Microsoft APIs, and although it's difficult, we think there may be a way to make something like that work with Microsoft. If there's a lot of support for us to do the same thing with Microsoft, we would be happy to build that. So yes, I think that could be done with Microsoft as well, but we just have to do a bit more research into that. It was very easy with Google. It's just a little bit more challenging with Microsoft. Gemma asks, will any collapsed boxes automatically uncollapse when printing a homepage? That's a good question, Gemma. When you print to PDF, it prints as it looks right then. It won't expand any content. If you want the content expanded, you would need to expand it first and then print it. The printing won't automatically expand things. Alison asks, we're keen to learn of any calendar upgrades and how it integrates with the resources. Sorry, Alison, I don't have a whole lot to update on the calendar with this update. We did actually upgrade the entire calendaring system under the hood. We did a whole lot of work to actually improve the calendar, but I don't have any new functionality to announce today. But you were alluding to resource booking being integrated more deeply into the calendar, and that's definitely well up on our list. It unfortunately didn't make this release, but we do have a design and we do have an idea for how that's going to work. So expect to see that very soon. Hal asks, back to the UPS to show me unused user accounts who haven't been moved to one of my past roles. I think what you're asking is what the delete report will show you. It will show you UPS accounts that even if you don't use it to delete, we will show you users that aren't being updated. So if you choose not to delete them and do something else with them, you can still use that report to find those users. One last point that's been raised by my team is that I didn't actually show, once I imported the assessment that I locked, I didn't actually show that locked assessment for everyone. So I'll just show you what that looks like. I think I imported it into demo class 2 from memory. So this is the essay final assessment that I actually locked earlier. And if I click modify on this, you'll see these fields are now disabled. So the task is still editable, so I can adjust the task if I need to, but I'm not able to change any of the other settings. I can change the dates, change visibility of marks, but I can't change the rubric. I can just view the rubric as it is. I can, of course, adjust and customize my participation still, but it's a very limited and subset of a full assessment task. So you can see how useful this would be to sort of control and limit the functionality available to the classroom teachers when they're importing those common assessment tasks. All right, I think we're about done. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. It was a great pleasure to run you through today all of our new features and functionality. As I said, we're expecting this to start rolling out to staging servers over the next couple of days. So keep an eye out on your staging servers to see this latest update. You can always check down in the footer of your version to see which one you're running. You should see a 21.0 beta 1 when this starts to roll out to your environment. So keep an eye out. And of course, get in there, test it out, make sure all your integrations and your custom work is working. Give us any feedback. We've got the next few weeks just to make sure we fix as many issues that you report as possible. So please do get in there and have a look and let us know if you've got any feedback, improvements or enhancements that you think we should make. Thank you very much.